Hello again. Hope you enjoyed that video. There's a whole series by that guy around artificial intelligence. And if you want a deeper dive, please feel free. I mean, just look at the links from his own page. So let's get back to where we were. Right. Now that you may or may not understand artificial intelligence, let's just get started with ChatGPT. So I'm going to demo ChatGPT because that's the one I use. And it's the one that I'm most familiar with. But honestly, once you start getting into them, they're all pretty much the same. The landing page. Easiest way to get there is chatgpt.com, or as per the prompt on the screen, openai.com. Talking about logins. If you're wanting to build a profile of yourself, then please create a login, as it keeps your profile, it keeps your chats against your login. And that's the way that you start building a profile on ChatGPT. The next big decision that you have to make is whether it's going to be paid or not paid. So let's see what ChatGPT says about that. Great question. So the free version is 3.5. So if you just went into ChatGPT, this is the version that you would get. It's the free version. It's pretty quick, but there is no access to any of the advanced tools. The free version, the paid version, however, is, oh gosh, it's jumped. So the paid version is way more functionally rich. At a cost of $20 a month, I believe it's value for money. And the most important tools that it gives you: file uploading, cartoon generation, and web browsing, or access to the web. And those three items are well worth it. And then, of course, the GPTs, which I'll talk about in a moment. In summary, then, there is the difference between the paid and the non-paid version. And the other factor to consider is the data that the free version has access to and the data that the paid version has access to. And nobody really makes this clear. The free version is locked at September 2021. In other words, the data it uses is locked as to that date, which is now nearly 3 years in the past. 3 years in the past. So when it's creating its responses, it's using older data, whereas the paid version has immediate access to the web. So it has the latest and greatest sets of data that it's generating the responses from. So that, for me, again, is one of the big deciders to spend that $20 a month. On the landing page, and I will go to the actual product in a moment, the landing page is very, very simple. This is the paid version. So you will see the GPTs, okay? And they're specialist solutions. On the project side, essentially what the projects are about, and this is a relatively new feature, is it's just grouping. It gives you the ability to group chats together so that you can put all of your similar chats together. And I will show you that in a moment. And then at the bottom, it is all of the chats that you have on a day-to-day basis. So how do I create content? And I think the most important part of this is you need a starting point. You need a reason to create an idea, something that you want to interrogate, something you want to expand on. So in this particular instance, I have a list of quotes, and I took 5 quotes from Khalil Gibran, and I asked ChatGPT. The following 5 quotes are from Khalil Gibran. Understand them, relate them to coaching, produce a short view of the quotes from my perspective and in my voice to encourage the reader to consider coaching. My perspective and my voice are only because over the 3 years that I have been using ChatGPT, I've created a fairly comprehensive bio, and I will take you through that in a moment. So what it produces is down here. So it gave a nice summary, the first quote, and what ended up in my LinkedIn post. So this part here, I transferred that to the LinkedIn post, and then of course it becomes content on my LinkedIn channel. From that, I took a week's worth of quotes, so the 5 quotes that I originally started with, fed that back in to ChatGPT as a PDF, so I literally just printed them out, and I said, produce me a newsletter. So you'll see there's the newsletter, and if you're lucky enough to be one of my subscribers, and I sure as hell hope you are, you will have already received this newsletter. So totally produced by ChatGPT. From the newsletter, I gave it another instruction. From that newsletter above, create an article to be placed in LinkedIn. And then there's an article for LinkedIn. So what this has done from 5 simple quotes in a matter of 5 minutes or 10 minutes, because the real work is in producing the actual content for LinkedIn, copy and pasting it into that format, I have created a lot of content just off those 5 quotes that we started with. So let's flip over to the other screen and do a demo. So there's the screen, and I hope you can see it clearly. If not, please make sure that your screen is in full screen mode so that you can see everything. So on the top left, we've got the ChatGPTs, and let's take a deep dive on that. So the GPTs, as I said, are all specialist solutions. So you see across the top here, if we wanted to do writing, these GPTs are just if you want to do professional writing. So they help you in that perspective. Productivity, how to do other stuff, image generation, presentation and diagram generator, research and analysis, education, if you want to focus some of your stuff on education, lifestyle, and then of course programming. And I think this is one of the biggest impacts AI is having on the world, is it's allowing people like myself to generate code. Even here, you can see that there is a website generator. So you could work with AI to create your own website in this space. So that's the GPTs. If we look at the projects, let's just take a simple one, onboarding of clients, because I'll talk about that one later. So these are the chats that I have used to create my onboarding program, and we'll take it through. So you can see here is a slide pack that I asked it to produce. Given my profile and your knowledge of my coaching practice, Coaching at Tom D, produce a slide pack introducing the coaching, the benefits of coaching, and the value of working with myself as a client. And it literally produced that slide pack that you can go and see on my onboarding program. Huge increase in productivity, all for that simple, $20 a month. Let's keep going. Right, let's go down here. So these are just the general chats that I'm going through. And let's go to coaching bio. So I'm doing a presentation shortly at Commensa, and I asked ChatGPT to create a bio. Once again, knowing what you know about me, create a bio. So there's a lovely little bio that I submitted to Commensa as part of that presentation. So it will go out on a newsletter. I think there was about 10 minutes of editing that I had to do this, because I really didn't know where that came from. And once again, I'm just pointing out that ChatGPT can make mistakes, because to be honest, I have no idea where that 6 axes of influence came from. Double check ChatGPT. Similarly, job application. So here's another application of AI. Speaks, I think I was referred to this organization through my supervision group, and apologies if I wasn't. Write an introductory letter for an application for the following job. It says, sure, give us the details. Here is the job application, or the coaching engagement that Speaks was looking for. So I literally copied and pasted this from their job application into AI, and then it produced a cover letter for me. And I asked it then, I don't actually have 500 hours. So I said, for reference of the 500 hours, please adjust the lines along of. And I told it how to change the letter, and it reproduced the letter. So you'll see, while I have not formally logged over my years in leadership roles, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so that is honestly another 5 minutes worth of work to produce a comprehensive overview letter for a job application. Moving on to some more fun stuff. Let's talk about cartoons. And I love using this part of it because it's very productive. Produce a cartoon welcoming people to coaching. It will be used in conjunction with the logo. That logo is attached. Okay. So it gives me a brief overview of what the cartoon will look like. It asked me if I wanted it to be formal, casual, or playful. I said casual. Great choice. And therefore it started to produce cartoons. Okay, and you'll see this on my web page in a moment. And so on and so forth. I've created many from that particular one. So for example, here is one for decision making at a strategy level. And if you've been reading my newsletters or you've been looking at my LinkedIn articles, you'll identify exactly where I'm using these cartoons. Okay. Fun stuff. Let's look at for scapegoat. How did I get to this one? I literally heard about the scapegoat effect and I did a little bit of research. So this is using AI once again for research. Okay. I literally said define the scapegoat effect and it gives a whole bunch of background. Then I related it to IEQ. Provide examples for IEQ team coaching and team dynamics. Okay. And therefore it went into how that scapegoating is involved in the Enneagram. I'm deeply involved, as you can see, in the Enneagram. And so it then took the scapegoat approach and positioned it within the IEQ 9 Enneagram. Once again, this hasn't gone into any of my content yet, but it will definitely go in at some stage. So it's another way to learn. Then I'm aging. Okay, so in this particular example, I was given 2 hearing aids that I need to consider. And so that's the audiophone and kind hearing aids. And it gave me a wonderful breakdown of what I could do in choosing the right hearing aid for me, and so on and so forth. A wonderful tool. So let me give you another example of how I've used it. So welcome to Daisy. Daisy is my virtual assistant. And I'm just going to play an introduction here.
Hi, Daisy here, Tom's digital assistant. I am here today to introduce you to the concept of business, personal and executive coaching. We will take a look at the coaching process to encourage you to look forward to your first session. Firstly, let's take a high-level look at what coaching is not. Coaching is not therapy or counseling. Broadly speaking, therapy focuses on where you find yourself today and looks into your past to understand why you are where you are, and then uses that understanding to assist you in moving forward to a new outcome. Mentoring,
etc., etc. So you don't have to view the whole thing, but let me tell you how I've created that. The product you're seeing there is a video product that takes text and plants it on the talking head. In this particular instance, I chose somebody called Daisy. Well, actually, I renamed the character that Synthesia gives you to Daisy just because I like Daisy. And the script for Daisy actually comes from ChatGPT. So I created a script in ChatGPT, and that took a little bit longer than just the first question, but maybe it took about half an hour to come up with the script. Obviously, I had to create the PowerPoint presentation, which is in the background, And I literally added the PowerPoint presentation and the script into Synthesia, and it produced this 2.5-minute introduction to coaching, which then goes into my onboarding program. So if you pop over to my website, you'll see down here that I have an onboarding program. So instead of onboarding clients in a meeting, I will meet them in the chemistry session, send them to this onboarding process where it takes them through the contracting. Let's just flip there so you can see what is covered. And most of the content oh, by the way, there's that cartoon. Okay. So here it is. So that intro, okay, that's me, another one of these kind of videos, giving an intro, a document. There's that video from Daisy, broad definition. So there's a document they can download. Well, how I approach it. Here's the coaching contracting agreement. They can download that. It says, well done on your progress, and select a time for our first chat. So that is straight into the contracting session. But they have all the background to come to that contracting session with knowledge. So this is another use of AI, synthesia.io for that video, and ChatGPT to create this onboarding program. Another version of the use of it. Okay, so that was the demo. Introducing Daisy, which you've already seen. Okay, so what's up next? The next step in this course or in this program is for you to download all of the collateral that I have put up there for you. It contains the slide deck of what I've spoken about and some other guidelines like example prompts and how you can personalize ChatGPT to your own profile. Feel free to book a cup of coffee, a session for a cup of coffee chat, and I will put that link in the links. And so then you and I, if you have a query of how to use it, or if you're having a problem with ChatGPT, please let me know. Happy to have a half-hour chat with you to at least address some of the queries. Remember, I'm not an expert. This is how I use it. And yeah, thanks for your attention. Cheers.